I wasn't planning to make this video today, but there's something that I have very close and dear to my heart. There's some thoughts that I have about watches and watch YouTubers that I have been keeping these thoughts for a long time. And I saw some comments of my own audience here, and I agree with them. Every time you see a watch YouTuber, there's a trend you're gonna see. They typically are advocates of small watches, 39 millimeter, 36 even, all these dainty watch sizes. They use this kind of words, something pure, the purity of the dial, the symmetry of the dial, the thinness I can appreciate. Anyway, you get the point. Most YouTubers are boring. At least that's what their taste tells me. They don't like beautiful designs, interesting designs. And the funny thing is that people that watch these channels tend to adopt these ideas. And you see, when you talk with watch fans, the kind of watches they want and they advertise and they're vocal for are the same watches that all YouTubers are advertising. But how really close are those ideas to what happens in reality? Well, in reality, people, for example, in Europe, like Hublot watches. They can appreciate the extravagant designs, the interesting materials, the rubber straps that they introduced to watchmaking. They can, if you go to Germany, the amount of Breitling watches you will see is incredible. And from what I've heard, I've been to Germany. I haven't been to Italy, but from what I heard, Italians love older vintage Breitlings on leather strap. Okay, so the fact that we hear the same brands over and over, the same models within the same brands over and over, and we think somehow, because these YouTubers are telling us that a Rolex with some crazy bubble dials, balloon dials are fun, and that's fun. The same YouTubers are praising the Explorer as the epitome of good watchmaking because it's simple, because it's small, because and the same people are the ones that praise watches like, was it an OP with that blue Tiffany dial with the balloons?
I couldn't wrap my brain around this. The colorful Oyster Perpetual dials of 2020 were unexpected, but kinda made a bit of sense looking back in the Rolex archives and the lacquer Stella dials. But this had no reference point for me. Once I got used to it and started to understand it a bit more, I fell in love with it.
Come on. Tasteless, completely tasteless. But they praise for it. If Breitling was doing the same thing, they would hate it. If Omega was doing the same thing, they would hate it. At the same time, they don't appreciate even what this little sibling is doing, Tudor, with carbon cases, titanium. When Tudor is doing titanium, they think it's too light. But when Rolex is putting it to a Yachtmaster, it's the epitome of horology. At the same time, you're leaving out beautiful watches. Again, I will say Breitling, IWC, Omega. There's so many beautiful, beautiful watches from all kinds of brands, from all price points, that are left out for the same models from the same brands over and over. And keep in mind that not even the same watch brands that they praise and the same models that they praise are holding to the standards that they try to impose to you. Which are these? Size. Let's start with size. Rolex is increasing sizes all the time. The Explorer is now 36 and 40 millimeters. The Submariner, it went from 41 to 40. I wonder when the Daytona will follow from 40 to 41. How many watches do you see that the main watch, the one that has the highest price point, is typically the larger watch? It's not about the material. It doesn't have, for 20 grams of stainless steel extra, they don't charge you $500 to $1,000. They think that that's the watch that's gonna sell, and that's why they price it higher. But here in the US, because and in the watch community, we are so conservative in our views that because of the YouTubers that we watch, that we typically buy the same watches over and over. Every time you're gonna see a YouTube video about, okay, what kind of watch should I get as a first watch, or what should I get for a graduation, or how to make a collection for X amount of money. Tell me, how many times do you see a different model? It's always the same watches, same brands, same models, over and over and over. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's all I had to say. Let me know where you stand in this. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, ciao.